Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back here on the Shield. I'm here to talk about some wrestling news. So I've done some NBA, NFL news, been recapping March Madness, done NASCAR news video, so I thought, why not do wrestling news? Want to talk about some of the latest stuff in wrestling, so I haven't done a video in a while. And I'll do this before I recap the Tennessee Duke game individually. So let's get into this. So Kofi Kingston, he said his ankle surgery went very well, and he's on the road to recovery. Since I haven't done this in a while, Kofi Kingston got injured on a SmackDown episode. He took to Instagram to state that the surgery went well and he's back home and recovering. He also noted that he chatted with Big E and Xavier Woods, though he has little recollection of the conversation. It's unknown when he'll return to the ring. He underwent surgery on March 17th. Remember, he suffered the injury during the March 3rd episode of SmackDown during a brawl with Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, LA Knight, and Karrion Kross. So, hopefully, the recovery goes very well for Kofi Kingston. FightfulSelect.com has news on a WWE writer departure. So, apparently, one of the WWE writers departed. It didn't say who. You'd have to go on FightfulSelect.com or whatever for it, I think. On Patreon. So, and some of the memorable segments they're responsible for. So, it didn't say on a WWE writer departure who it was, but apparently somebody departure. So it's even more bad news for WWE writer departure. Charlotte Flair says, I want to be on camera with Andre El Idolo at some point. I'll pass on that. Stay where you are. He'll come to you on your screen. I don't want to see this, man. But Tony Khan will probably be down to do it though. So WWE SmackDown records another decrease in preliminary viewership on the March 17, 2023 episode. That's too bad because that last segment felt like it's one of the best things they put on TV in a long time, but it's hard to compete against March Madness, I get that. That last segment was pretty good. But it held over 2 million the whole night March Madness, which is a W. But I just didn't care to watch because I'm more invested right now in basketball than WWE right now. But it's a 2.1 and an increase in the second hour up against the NCAA tourney. Apparently, it was up. With 16 versus 1 is a big win for WWE, I guess. So at least the ratings held steadily during the March Madness tournament. So there was details on Saray's WWE departure. Tokyo Sport has reported that Saray is leaving WWE and becoming Sari again. Fightful Select was able to confirm the report, including that Saray has bookings elsewhere. However, WWE has yet to comment to numerous inquiries about her in official capacity since word emerged that she'd be leaving WWE imminently. We learned more. We were told the beginning of the end was actually early in 2022 when many of her biggest supporters were let go from NXT. Sources within the brand said that she never factored into a consistent or major creative fashion after that. We were told by the spring of 2022 that the writing was on the wall. William Regal's departure was one that many turned to as a turning point. So what many people turn to as a turning point while she departed from WWE is when William Regal, his departure. Those who frequent the Performance Center said that she hadn't been around in ages and weren't given any answers when they'd asked about her. It was widely accepted that within the company that the creative against her was outright bad. Those within the company said that Saray took the great pride in helping Tiffany Stratton along during their short feud and seemed to think a lot of the up-and-coming talent. Though there was a language barrier, we heard no issues in her dealing with anyone and only heard positive things about her from the others in the WWE Performance Center. I thought the gimmick was good, they just didn't know how to play it, and the character they chose for her was never going to work, so it limited her, so I think that's why she left WWE, in my opinion. Trish Stratus on Cardi B's tweets. We both have asses that have been talked about for decades. I mean, not gonna say too much on that. Brian Cage's AEW deal currently runs through March, and so his current AEW deal runs through March, and there's news on AEW and WWE's interest. Recently, we reported that Brian Cage's AEW deal was set to expire imminently. However, there were some hiccups to that Fightful Select. Fightful Select has learned that AEW had hoped to extend his deal due to injury time that would keep him with the company until at least the end of June. However, Cage pushed back on that and was interested in exploring free agency, and for a good reason. They've been told that AEW has maintained interest in Cage in the event he becomes a free agent, and are open to having conversations with the Ring of Honor six-man tag team champion. That period won't have to wait long, and we're told AEW and Cage agreed to work together through the end of March, specifically the Ring of Honor Super Card of Honor pay-per-view. So apparently they're going to be able to keep Brian Cage and AEW. WWE did have interest, so, but I remember all the WWE fans saying, "Oh, he has no charisma and personality." They were chomping at the bit to sign him. I don't think he's gonna go there. I think he'll stay in AEW because I think they'll get a new deal worked. Bronson Reed basically talked about his time away from WWE, how it gave him more confidence to return. I think Bronson Reed's a really good wrestler. Watching him in NXT, he was fantastic, has some really good in-ring work. It just sucks right now because he's getting no crowd reactions. Like, nobody cares about him. They're not even booing. It's just he's getting no reaction. It sucks because Bronson Reed's just a fantastic wrestler. I think it'd do better if you put these guys in NXT first, so maybe some people on the main roster that don't know who it is, they'll see him in NXT first. They'll get to see him how they are in NXT and decide how they'll like them on the main roster. That's just my thoughts. AEW's International Championship name change. They changed the All-Atlantic title to the International title. It's been a move that's been the worst for some time, apparently. Fightful Select was told that the Warner Bros. Asked for something being in order to cross-promote the Shazam Fury of the Gods movie on AEW. Tony Khan had the idea of doing a level up of the championship to the international title. So it was basically they asked him to do something big in order to cross-promote the Shazam, the Fury of the Gods movie on AEW. So Tony Khan changed it to the international championship instead of All Atlantic Championship or whatever it was. So I think that was a good move by AEW. Stu Grayson says Evil Uno suffered a concussion on the March 15 AEW Dynamite. Maybe it's a kayfabe injury, possibly. I don't know. I don't watch Dynamite, so I don't even know what happened. But it might be a kayfabe injury. Gunther becomes the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion since the Honky Tonk Man. Onwards to breaking the record. This says a lot about this title over the years. He's one of the most talented wrestlers in the world. It's great to see him having such a dominating presence in the mid-card. He's definitely main event material, but that time will likely have to wait until he inevitably loses the Intercontinental Championship. He might lose at WrestleMania, possibly. Maybe to Sheamus, we'll see. LA Knight versus Rey Mysterio set for next week's WWE SmackDown. Yeah, that's going to be a great match right there. LA Knight, Rey Mysterio. Set up after LA Knight got into a backstage conversation after he lost to Xavier Woods, which he shouldn't have. But maybe this is he keeps losing, maybe building him up more, getting to that superstar level, which I think he already is. But yeah, that's really all the wrestling stuff I wanted to talk about for this video, so yeah, until next time, Peace.